Hi guys, guess what? I'm making a video. Who knew? Um, I've gotten a couple of requests to make a video because it's been a long time, and I appreciate the requests. Um, so here I am. It is Monday, June 22nd, 2020. The last video I filmed was at the end of last year. I think it was December 30th or January 1st. It was a November December update, and I didn't really post it until February or March. Um, so this is essentially going to be like a 2020 update because I haven't posted a video about 2020. So here we are. 2020 has been a crazy year. Um, yeah. Um, so COVID-19, I am working from home, which I don't love. I like the commute. The commute from my bed to my chair is fantastic. I love that. I love that I log out of work and I log into virtual stitches. I love that. I don't have to jump on the bus. I don't have to walk home. I love not having a commute. I get to sleep in the morning. I love that part. But other than that, I'm not really a fan of working at home. But I am fortunate to have my paycheck, and I do appreciate that. My bills are paid, my rent is paid. So I appreciate that I am able to work from home and I have my paycheck. So that's been good. Um, I've been staying home a lot. Um, yeah, I haven't been going too far. I've been getting food delivered. Oh my gosh, I've spent so much money on DoorDash and Instacart. I've been getting food delivery. I've been getting grocery delivery. I've ordered some things from Amazon. Um, I've bought stash. I'm probably not going to show a whole lot of haul. I'm not trying to go back and figure out everything I bought. I'll show you a few things that I have handy here, but just believe me, I bought stuff. Um, a lot of it project bags. I've been giving Gary and Ronnie a lot of money. I've been giving Gable at Stitch and Button a lot of money. Um, yeah, just trust me. I've been shopping. Uh, so I've been stitching. Um, so yeah, I have some finishes. I have some starts. I have some whips. I have some other miscellany. So here we go. Um, we'll start with my finishes. I have one that I cannot find. I don't know what I did with it. So I'm going to show it to you on my phone. I'm sorry. But back at the end of last year, in Virtual Stitchers, we decided we were going to do an Artisty SAL because one of our beloved Virtual Stitchers, Joni, got all giddy over an Artisty chart that she found after swearing she was never going to do full coverage. And so we decided we're going to have a Journey SAL and we're all going to stitch an Artisty chart. I am not trying to do a large full coverage start. I was not trying to do that. Luckily for me, Artisty has bookmarks, and I found a bookmark that I liked. Actually, I found several that I liked. I know I bought at least one. I may have bought two or three. Um, Besides the one that I stitched. So this is the one that I stitched. This is their Sunset Cross bookmark. That color really sucks, doesn't it? That's not coming across true at all. It's a very bright sunset orange and yellow. Um, that's not even close to being true. It almost looks black and white on the screen. Uh, yeah, no. Oh, well, that's getting a little better. It's a little better, but it still sucks. Anyway, so that was my finish. Uh, that was my first finish, I think. That was my first start. I finished it somewhere along the way. Um, I finished This is a start that I had last year. I started this on Memorial Day last year, and I finished it this year. This is Land of Liberty by Bent Creek, and this is one of their, let's see if I have something to put behind here. This is one of their uh, zipper kits. And you know me, I love those zipper kits. I found this one on Stash and Load, and so I finished that. This is a piece that I started last Halloween, and I put a few stitches in, and then I put it down and didn't pick it up again until this year. This is Spell of the Moon by Blackbird Designs, and I finished it this year. This is on some random piece of fabric that I had in my stash. I don't know what it is. The zipper kits are always done on 18 count linen. And my last finish so far this year is this. I started on New Year's Eve 2018. I was waiting for midnight and I got bored and I came across this. I'm like, I'm going to start that. And I started it, and getting towards the end of 2019, I'm like, I'm going to finish this year. And then I had a problem and I put it away, and it went timeout until the end of March or April this year. And I finally pulled it out and said, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to finish it. So this is Miss New Year's Fairy by Mirabilia. And what I had done was I mixed up the symbols on the metallics. And I had stitched, see this dark blue on the edge of her wing, there's this brown, and then there's a dark blue on the inside. I had stitched that in gold on accident. And I knew I had stitched that in gold, and I had stitched the chain on her clock in gold. And then I knew, well, this is one symbol and the other symbol is blue, and that left the inside of the clock face being blue. And I'm like, wait, I don't remember that being blue. This doesn't make sense. And so I looked, I'm like, oh, I mixed them up. And I kind of went back and forth with myself. You know, it looks fine. It's going to be a pain in the butt to rip out. Do I really want to go through that, or do I just want to live with it? And everybody told me it looks fine, just leave it. But I finally resigned myself to the fact that I wasn't happy with it, and I wasn't going to be happy with it until I fixed it. So I finally sat down one day and I pulled it all out and I fixed it. And I'm glad I did. Because I'm much happier with it. Sorry. I'm much happier with it. And when I showed it like on virtual stitches, all of them agreed, yeah, it looks better that you fixed it. So there's my Miss New Year's Fairy. So I've done 2 of these now. I did Miss New Year's Fairy and I did Christmas Elf Fairy. And that's what I finished so far this year. This we will talk about later. Starts. I've had 4 starts. 4 finishes. I've had 6 starts, and I'm about to start a 7th. We'll talk about the 7th. That's going to be a SAL, so stay tuned. The first thing I started was the bookmark, the Artisty bookmark. Virtual Stitchers is doing a leap into a new start every 29th a month because 2020 was a leap year. There was a February 29th. So we decided we were going to start a new project every 29th of the month. Every February 20, every 29th of the month. So I've been doing some of them. I have not been doing all of them. If you've been following me for a long time, you know I struggle with new starts. So I'm not trying to start 12 things, although I've gotten a good portion of the way there at this point. But so on January 29th, my buddy Renee and I decided that we were going to start a project together. And if I can find it, I'll show you what it is. This was one of my project bags from Gary and Ronnie. We started, here's a picture of it. This is Real Comfort, Jane Austen by Modern Folk Embroidery. So we decided to start that together, and so we did. And here's where I am, and I'll tell you a story because I always have stories with these projects. So here's my projects. Yeah, what did I do here? So there's my project. I've done half of the top. Now, see this? See how little space there is between the bottom of the stitching and the bottom of the fabric? Sorry, I'm a little rusty at this. And see that alphabet down there? Yeah, no, that's not going to fit. Apparently, when I started this, I decided that math didn't matter. And I don't know what I was thinking. I think I thought that this project was smaller than it was. And I didn't think that I needed to measure my fabric first. I just assumed it was big enough. And I was wrong. It's not big enough. So I'm just going to leave the bottom off. And I'll just do the top. And I think it'll be just fine that way. I'll do the top and I'll do the border. And I think it's just fine that way. But I've put this down. I haven't worked on it for a while. I feel a little bit of second sock syndrome. I did the first half. The second half is almost a mirror image. It's a little different, but it's the same. I think it's really this that's putting me off having to do another whole section of this. That's putting me off. So it's been in timeout for a little bit. But it'll come back out because I'd like to finish it this year. So there's Jane Austen by Modern Folk Embroidery. I love Modern Folk Embroidery. Let me just put this back in here real quick. Okay. It's down here. Okay. The next thing I started was on February 29th. And this is something that I've been wanting to start for a while. And I decided I was just going to start it. I hope there's a picture of it in here, you guys. Let's see if I have a picture of it in here. Because, or if I don't. I have it on my phone if it's not in here. That was so, just have a picture on it. No. Alright. Well, I'll show you on my phone. what I started is the Three Things Sampler by Moira Blackburn. And you've seen her, she did the Hope Sampler that Jessie Marie is doing. This is her Three Things Sampler. And it says, three things there are that will never come back. The arrow shot forth on its destined track, the appointed hour that could not wait, and the hopeful word that was spoken too late. So there it is. It's a big project. It's a BAP, as they say. And I started this on February 29th. I'm just using plain white fabric because I had it on hand. It was big enough. I wanted to start, and I didn't want to have to wait and order more fabric. So this fabric is like a tablecloth, you guys. It's huge. It's a little bit, I stitch in hand, and it's actually a little bit awkward to stitch on because it's so big. But so there's where I am. I've done all of that border, and I've done that little bit in the corner up there. So I have a long way to go. I've been using this a lot for daily 30 challenges, for magical stitches challenges. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but some. I've used it for some challenges. And right now, it's not much of a priority, so that's about the only time it gets attention, is if it fits into a challenge. So there's my start on three things. See how big this fabric is? It's seriously like a tablecloth, you guys. It's huge. We're going to have to figure out how to fold this later, because y'all don't want to sit here and watch me do this. Ow. Okay. And this is another bag that I got from Gary and Ronnie. This is the bag that my Three Things sampler lives in. Okay, the next thing I started was, we've got Artisy, Modern Folk Embroidery, Three Things. The next thing that I started was this. A lot of people I've noticed have been having trouble with their stitchy bugs since this COVID-19 stuff started. Just because of stress and anxiety, and a lot of people have financial anxiety, and you know, it's been causing problems with sleeping and with childcare, and just your schedule's all out of whack. And I was okay until probably sometime in the middle of May. I started kind of losing my stitching bug in the middle of May. I was having problems sleeping for a few weeks. I was falling asleep right after work, and then I'd be up at 2 in the morning, or I'd be up all night. And there was one day where I logged out of work at 10 o'clock. I told my supervisor, you know, I didn't sleep at all last night. And I logged in and did a few things that I had to get done, and I logged back out. So I was okay, and around the middle of May, I started having trouble with my stitchy bug. So, you know, I'm on Virtual Stitchers, and they're like, how come you're not stitching? And so they're like, well, maybe you need a new start. So I found something small in my stash that was already kitted up that I could start. And so this is what I came up with. This is American Heritage by the Sweetheart Tree. And I had it kitted up already. So I started this. And I really ought to go back and finish it because it's not that big. And this is where I got to on it. So I'm going to go back and finish that at some point because it's not that far. I just need to finish those hearts. And, you know, Sweetheart Tree always has those fussy curly Q backstitch lines on it and beads, and so I'll finish it. So that was my fourth start. My fifth start was a SAL. Lisa at Lisa Stitching and Such and I had agreed that we were going to start Silver Moon Tea together. And Lisa was all chomping at the bit to go, and she said, "Just tell me when you're ready, and we'll do it." And we set a date, and it ended up getting pushed back, and we did it at the end of May, and we got Sarah to join us. Sarah from uh, our Stitching Kingdom. So she joined us, and there's Silver Moon Tea. We started this on May 30th by Mirabilia, of course. And she is living in this bag that I got from Gary and Ronnie. You know, Silver Moon Tea, and here's a bunch of little pastries that you could eat with tea. So, you know, you could eat with your tea. So I thought that was appropriate. And I think I may have dropped something. So I started this on the Cod 4 linen. This is a 28 count, 32 count Violet Mist, Violet with Shelt. And there's my little tiny square of purple. It's about 40 stitches. And this linen is like cardboard. I am not a fan. And it might be okay if I used a frame or something, but I stitch in hand, so I think I might start over. It's only 40 stitches. I think I might start on a different fabric because I don't see myself getting through this whole project on this fabric. Yeah, it's like cardboard. So, but again, this is not a priority this year, and I'll probably start it over because reasons that I will maybe discuss in the later in this video. But um, for right now, I am not a fan. Look at the inside of that. Look at that lemon print. I love that. And it's nice and bright and cheery. So that was start number 5. Start number 6 was a whim. We were talking about this on Virtual Stitchers. I was talking to someone else on Virtual Stitchers. And I went and bought the chart. And because I was still having stitching bug problems, I hope there's a picture of this in here. Yeah. Thank goodness. I'm like, well, this kind of sounds fun. Let me go ahead and start this. And this was just a couple days after I started Silver Moon Tea. This is Temperature Tree by Stitch and Mommy. Sarah Hughes at Stitch and Mommy. So I started that. I was going to go. This is the bag that I was living in, also from Gary and Ronnie. Pretty lily pads and dragonflies. I was going to go back and use the temperatures from 2020, but I'm thinking that I might actually just do the tree this year and use the temperatures for 2021 and just start filling it in January. So this is my little start. Yeah. This is 28 count Lugana in the color Elsa by Valkyrie Stitchworks, which is Kat Jones on Facebook. So there's my little start on my tree. I actually wonder if that's upside down. I don't really know what way is also. No, I think that's right. So this is the trunk of the tree, and this is where the branches start branching off. So there's that. So those are my starts for this year so far. And I have one more planned, but we will talk about that in a bit. So now, where are we? We're on whips. This is stuff that I had started in previous years and I have worked on this year. And these are in no particular order. These are just in the order that they're stacked here on the table. I don't think I have a picture of this. Oh, there it is. There's a picture of it. This is His Eyes on the Sparrow by Heartstring Samplery. I started this on Christmas Day of 2015. This is just living in a plain mesh bag that I got from the Container Store. And for a 4+-year-old project, a giant 4+-year-old project, there's my sad little start on it. I needed it for a challenge in Daily 30, I think, and I put some stitches in it. And that's all I have. So this, I think I'm going to try to give this some attention next year. We'll talk about next year. And I think I'm going to try to give this some attention next year. My poor little sad start. Whoops. I'm making a mess over here, you guys. Alright. This is the Spring Quaker bag from Gary and Ronnie. And this houses... Oh, no, we're not talking about this yet. It is the Spring Quaker bag, but we'll talk about this project later. We'll talk about that later. Alright. This is a project you guys have seen before. And I've put some stitches into it. I don't think I have a picture of it. I have a picture of it here. Oh. Let me show you on my phone. This is that going to work? Can you see that? This is Under the Evergreen by Teresa Wensler. And I am using this as a scavenger hunt piece in Daily 30. And requisite disclaimer, Daily 30 is a closed group. You cannot get in. You can't find it. You can't get in. They're not accepting new members. So here's where I am on it. I had started in the middle, and I did page 3 down here where the doll and the ball and the blocks are. And then I decided I wanted to work with the top. So I gridded my way up to the top, and I've been kind of bouncing back and forth between the top and the bottom, just depending on what I'm doing. And sometimes I need a color prompt. I've been using it. I used it for a pink color prompt. I used it for blue. I used it for stitch on a face. I've used it for stitch on metallic. So I'm also using it for scavenger hunt in Daily 30. So I'm hoping to give this some more attention in July. We'll talk about that when we get to plans. So there's my Under the Evergreen. This is a project. This one actually has a picture with it, believe it or not. It's a black and white picture. This is an old project as well. This is Quaker Game Board by Papillon Creations. I started this in 2006. I have been working on this year. I've been using it for challenges. In the last few weeks, in my quest to find my stitchy bug, I've been kind of ignoring the challenges. I've been ignoring Cheryl. I've been ignoring Vicky. And I've just been kind of stitching on what appeals to me. And so I worked on this for a while. Um, and I finished the border. I finished the border. And then when I got done with the border, I was so excited to finally get into the middle and get to start stitching on the motifs and the letters in the middle. You can see there's letters in there. You can kind of see them on the camera, but I promise that there are. And so I was so excited to be able to start on the motifs and filling it in. So I've done the first page, and then I put it down, and I'll pick it back up in July. I have it slated for an event in semi-scene. So I'll pick it up and uh, put it in page 2 in July during the semi-scene event. This is a piece. This was a stitch along. Things are falling. What? What fell? I got stuff falling all over the place. All right. So this is a stitch along that we started in Virtual Stitchers last November. Megan at Twin Mom Stitcher and some others in Virtual Stitchers. Caitlin Lantry at Queen of Starts is doing it, and just a few of us are stitching Raspberry Homecoming by Marilyn Levitt Emblem, Told in the Garden. And I've been using this a lot for challenges back when I was doing them. And so this is where I've got, let me pick this up. All right. This is Raspberry Homecoming. This is where I've been using this for a lot of challenges. I did the barn for a Magical Stitches challenge where you had to put 1,000 stitches in a piece. And the barn was an easy pick because it's 1,000 stitches of one color. And so I just have to finish I just have to finish the people at the bottom and the bushes. I gotta finish this quilt. There's a quilt over here. There's a tree here. And there's some words at the bottom. It says Raspberry Homecoming. So I enjoy this piece. It's an easy stitch. We often talk about how amazing the shading is compared to what you have now. A lot of designers now use variegated threads to get the shading. In the 90s, they didn't have that. So Marilyn Levitt and Bloom used, DMC, and you had, several shades of DMC to get the right shading in the quilts, especially. So, in the trees. So, yeah, there's that piece. It also has a companion Blueberry Homecoming, which I might do next year. Okay. And I think this is the last one. No, I got two more. All right. So this is another scavenger hunt piece. This is My oldest whip, this is older than some of you. This kit is from 1993. I started in 1994 when I was in high school. And we're going to try this again because I accidentally, apparently, told it to stop recording. Luckily, I hadn't gotten very far before I noticed it. So we're going to continue talking about Victorian Village. So, as I was saying before I so rudely got interrupted, um, this is my whip. I started it in high school and sat in timeout for a long time because I tried to pull it back out a few years ago and I was missing like half of the kit threads and I was, uh, I couldn't match them up and the lengths didn't match because I had used some of them and I just, no. And so, um, and then there was a mistake in the firehouse. And of course, since I couldn't use the threads, now I had dye lot issues. And because the DMC numbers on the chart are equivalents, they're not exact matches. So, in order to finish it, I ended up kitting it up in DMC, which thankfully are listed on the chart. And I ended up having to frog the firehouse and just start over because I'm like, I'm not going to be able to match the colors. So let me just start it over. So I did that. And so I decided to make this a scavenger hunt piece this year. So when I was in high school, I did the candy store and I did the yellow house. I started the firehouse, which then I frogged this year. So I've done the firehouse and I've done the gazebo. I did this, which the blue and white house, which I also made a mistake on, and I still need to fix it. I need to find I apparently misplaced the skein of gray I was using because the one I tried to replace it with didn't match. So I need to find the one that matches this so I can finish fixing this and backstitch it. And then this is going to be the general store up here. That's the bottom of the general store. So there's 12 ornaments. There's the general store up there. And so I'm hoping to finish this year. This is my oldest whip. So, and it's easy stitching. They're cute. They're small. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a finish this year. And then my last whip is my Hade. This is The Littlest Fairy by Hade, artwork by Selena Fennick. And this is the story keep. I started this in May of last year, kind of on a whim. And I am there. I am just short of halfway. I'm 240 stitches away from halfway on this. So there she is, and I'm working on the bottom of her clothes and the top of the mushroom. And then the bottom down here is just all mushroom stem. It's 2,500 stitches of 762. And just the mushrooms on the side and just background. And Jessie Marie told me it's just coloring at that point. Like, there's no confetti. It's just kind of boring. But so I'm hoping to finish this year too. So, but she's so pretty. Let me put this back up. She's just so pretty. I love her. So that's all my stitching. That's what I finished. That's what I started. That's what I'm working on. Plans. In July, semi-sane. Well, there's two events going on in July. And so I'm going to try to use those events to further my own goals. So I want to finish the scavenger hunt. There's 50 prompts on the scavenger hunt, and I'm on prompt number 30. And I want to finish the scavenger hunt. You cannot double dip the first level of the scavenger hunt with the weekly challenges, but on the upper levels you can. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm trying to get done with this. I want to make some project on those 3 projects. The fairy is the scavenger hunt project, the ornaments, and Under the Evergreen is my other scavenger hunt project. So the fairy and Under the Evergreen are full coverage projects. So I want to use them for a full coverage fanatics bingo in the month of July. They both fit into several of the categories. So I want to do that. Because of course I can double dip full coverage fanatics with the scavenger hunt. Semi-Sane is playing Uno in the month of July. Semi-Sane has also closed to new members. You cannot get into Semi-Sane. But they're playing Uno. So I'm going to use my 3 scavenger hunt pieces, and I'm going to use Quaker Game Board for Uno. And I'm hoping by the end of July I will be done with the scavenger hunt. It takes 1,000 stitches on a project to get a bingo, mark a spot on the bingo card. So that's 5 prompts. I have 20 prompts left. 4 bingo squares will get me finished with the scavenger hunt. So I'm hoping to finish the scavenger hunt. That's my number 1 priority. I'm taking 2 weeks off. I'm taking 2 weeks of vacation in July. And I'm not going anywhere. There's nowhere to go. Everything's closed. So I'm going to stay home, and I'm going to jump on virtual stitchers, and I'm going to sleep, and I'm going to watch television and watch YouTube and stitch. And just not work. That's all I really need to have a vacation. I just have to not be working. It doesn't really matter what I do as long as I don't have to log into work. That's all I really care about. And usually I only take 1 week in the summer, but this year has been crazy, and it's been difficult, and it's been stressful. And so this year I'm like, I'm going to take 2 weeks. I've also gained a little more seniority, and I accrue a little more vacation, so I can afford to take a little more time. So that helps too. So that's going to be July. I'm going to focus on those 4 projects. For the rest of June, I'm going to focus on the ornaments still, and I'll probably do a little bit on Raspberry Homecoming. I'm going to try to dip my toe back in the water of challenges. I think I might do a little bit of Magical Stitches homework this week. Sorry about that. That was my phone. No, that was my tablet. I don't know if you heard that, but so I'm going to try to start dipping back into the challenges. It's just, it's really hard when you're having trouble with your stitchy bag. It's really hard to want to force yourself to do what somebody tells you to do. When you're having trouble with your stitchy bag, you just kind of want to do what feels good and what you feel like doing, and you don't want to have to try to make yourself feel like doing what Vicky tells you to do or what Cheryl tells you to do. So, but now I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll do a little bit of the homework. I will put 300 stitches in Raspberry Homecoming. I can live with that. So, also coming up in July, pay attention, people. Pay attention. July 16th, I am having a birthday sale. July 16th is my birthday. And we were talking about this in Virtual Stitchers. And they said, it's your birthday? What are you stitching on? What are we starting? What are we doing for a sale? So we kind of discussed it and came up with some ideas. And what I settled on is at the bottom of this pile. What I settled on is the project that's in my spring Quaker bag. And that is, why do I not have the picture in here? Why do I not have the picture in here? Let me pull it up on my phone. Y'all have been watching me for a long time, and you know that I'm usually underprepared for these things. Here it is. Okay, so what I settled on is this piece here. This is, can you see that? There it comes. It's coming, right? Yeah, there it is. This is Joy in the Journey by Leisure Arts. It's available as a PDF at leisurearts.com. It's $5.99 American. It's not very expensive. I think it has 10 or 12 colors in it. It doesn't have a lot of colors. So Joy in the Journey. You can stitch on this. You can stitch on Blessed is a Life by Little House Needleworks. You can stitch on a sampler, or you can stitch on any piece where the journey is bringing you joy. So, and it's hashtag VS Joy in the Journey SAL. And I'll put it in the box below. But so that starts on July 16th, and I hope you will join us. Post your pictures on Instagram. Post your pictures in Virtual Stitchers. I hope you will join us. Other plans for the year? Well, okay. So here's the thing. Next year, a bunch of Virtual Stitchers got together and decided to do a challenge next year of no new starts for 2021. Yeah. So, of course, when you think, oh my gosh, I'm not starting anything next year, everybody wants to start all the things this year. Well, even before the challenge, everybody in Virtual Stitchers was starting all the things this year. So, I have decided, well, one, I've already started several things. And two, I'm still not trying to blow up my WIP list. My WIP list, I'm at 31 right now, or I will be at 31 after I start Joy in the Journey. So I'm not trying to blow up my WIP list. So I'm going to go from now until November. They're having New Start November. And I'm going to see where I am in November. And I told somebody I would start a Hade with her. And I have sort of another Hade in mind that I might start. I have Blueberry Homecoming. I have some other things in mind that I might start. But before I do that, I want to see where I am with the WIPs that I have. I would like to finish this year before I go starting a bunch of stuff. I would like to finish Raspberry Homecoming, Quaker Game Board, Jane Austen, Littlest Fairy, the ornaments, and the Sweetheart Tree American Heritage. So that's 6 finishes that I'm hoping to have this year. So I want to see how far I get on that. What I have that maybe I'm not going to finish this year, but it'll be an easy finish next year. I'd like to be a little further along on Under the Evergreen by the time we get to next year. I don't really expect to finish that this year. So I'm just gonna kind of work on my WIPs and try to, get some of the stuff done going into November, and then when we get to November, I'll decide what I'm gonna do about next year. So that's the plan. And I'm starting Joy in the Journey, but I'm gonna try to no more starts between now and November. Yeah. So I think that's about it for WIPs and plans. One of the other things, that I might start. And you've seen this because I've been using it as my uh, background. One of the things that is on my list to start is Haul. It was a market release. It's We Live in Hope by Blackbird Designs. I had sort of intended to start it already as like the pandemic piece. I think it's appropriate for this time. Um, I have not started it. I have it kitted. If you can do something with that, good luck to you. I have it kitted right here. This is another piece of haul. This is my vintage sewing bag that I got from Vicky at Stitch and Button. Vicky makes fantastic bags. And they always have the prettiest little belt pull or zipper pulls on them. This one has a little sewing machine on the end. So this is on the list of possible starts. I got a couple more bags here. I'll show you. Let's see if I can get to some of this easy. Maybe I'll show you some of the haul. This is another bag that I got from Vicky. This cute little fox and owl print. I think I have it upside down. I do. There, that's better. A little fox and owl print. And it's got the dark blue background. And it's got a little owl. Got a little owl at the bottom of the belt of the zipper pull. I'm not doing a very good job of showing this to you, am I? There we go. Vicky sent me some charms to put on my ornaments. And then I got this one. I love that. And then it has the inside fabric. And this one has a little birdhouse at the bottom of the belt pull. I keep calling it a belt pull. It's a zipper pull. So I got that from her too. She's great. She's crazy, but we love her. She's fantastic. I've got an assortment of random stash. I bought Baby It's Cold Outside from Gary. That was the one they were doing for Leanne at Lost and Floss when she passed away. I've gotten just all kinds of stuff. I kitted up Psalm 103 by La Di Da. Maybe I'll start that. I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to wait till November and decide then what I'm going to do. In the meantime, I'm just going to be here stitching and trying to finish some of these whips, trying to knock down this list. Y'all might remember that I have, here, I'll show you. Here. Y'all might remember, you can't see that, can you? Yeah, there it is. I have two lists. See that split down there? The top list is whips that I had going as of January 1st, 2012. This is the stuff that's still not finished. This is the stuff that I have going that I started after that. And so I'm trying to knock down this list. Every year I try to knock a couple of projects off this list. Quaker Game Board is on this list. The ornaments are on this list. And Under the Evergreen is on this list. Next year, since we're doing no new starts, I'll pick a couple more projects and try to knock them off. So I don't remember what I was saying. I don't remember what I was saying. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to finish some of this stuff and knock projects off my whip list. And yeah, I think that's about it. I think that's all I have. I'm probably at close to an hour now. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you new subscribers, even though I haven't been here in like forever. I appreciate those of you who have posted or who have contacted me in virtual stitchers and say, hey, why aren't you making videos? We want to see a video from you. Um, um, I do appreciate that. And maybe I will be a little more regular about posting. Um, yeah, maybe I will be more regular about posting. Anyway, I hope you are all having a great summer. I hope you're doing okay with this situation that we're all in with this pandemic. Um, and that your children are okay and that you're all healthy and safe and stitching. And I will see you next time. Bye.